My name is John Kenyon, and I'm the Executive Director of the Iowa City UNESCO City of Literature Organization, and I would like to welcome you to the final day of our 9th annual One Book, Two Book Festival. We've had some amazing programs over the past 2 days, and we're excited to present today's program right out loud. So Iowa City is one of only 39 UNESCO designated cities of literature in the world, so it's obvious we take writing very seriously here. As is fitting for a city of literature, the young people in our community are very talented writers. And our organization wanted to find a way to recognize those young people and their talent, and so we created this Write Out Loud event. We asked students in grades 1 through 8 throughout the Iowa City Cedar Rapids corridor to submit an essay, a poem, an illustrated story, just about anything they can imagine. Our partners with ACT here in Iowa City evaluated those pieces and selected grade level winners in 2 different categories. The first is the right stuff, which is judged based on language, clarity, structure, and emotional impact. The second is from the heart, which is judged based on creativity, passion, and expressiveness. In addition, they identified other top students in each grade, and these students today will receive honorable mention recognition. So, before we get started, I did want to take a moment to thank the organizations and individuals who have helped to make this festival possible. We received financial support from the Community Foundation of Johnson County, from ACT, the Have Life Foundation, US Bank, and Iowa Public Radio. And in addition, we had support from the University of Iowa President's Office that allows us to be in this space today. I would also like to say thank you to the team from ACT that read and evaluated the hundreds of submissions that we received this year. John Melby Aitken, a member of that team, is with us today and will present our winners with their certificates. So welcome, John. And note that I said hundreds of submissions, so those of you who are here today are definitely the cream of a very talented crop. So I'm going to start with our introductions for our first and second graders because, as I said, we're going to show the older kids how this is done. So I would like to ask our first grade students to please come to the foot of the stage. And here they come. Now while they're coming, oh, Nate, we're not coming up yet. Now, I did want to say, our first grade honorable mention student is unable to join us today, Shrivra Snigdha Adu from Tiffin Elementary. We will mail her certificate to her, so we thank her for submitting. Now, our Right Stuff winner is Nate Cwiertny, so Nate can come on up. Nate is a first grader at Weber Elementary, and he will read his piece, Protect the Flowers and Save the Bees.
Protect the wildflowers because they have special powers. They sway in the breeze and attract lots of bees. The bees fly and land on flower tops for a short little pollen pit stops. The nectar they slurp and they try not to burp. From flower to flower the bees jump and play. Oh, what a way to spend their day. Afternoons on daisies, roses and daffodils, the honeybees are never still. And soon when it's night, the bees settle just right, taking the pollen to spread around to the other plants on the ground. Then they head back to the hive and end the day with a wing high five. The flowers and the bees have done their jobs, and soon the honey drips out on globs. So protect the flowers and save the bees, and save some honey for me, please.
Awesome. All right, so stay up on stage, Nate, because we're going to get pictures. Can you come over here? All right. Now, all you older grade kids, you think this is so easy, but Nate's showing you. So you want to come just back here a little bit? And now we're going to introduce Audrey Mitros, who is a first grader, who is our From the Heart winner. She's from Wickham Elementary, and she's going to read All About My Trip. Yeah, get that in the right spot, Audrey.
All about my trip. My mom and dad wanted to go to New Jersey, so we did. We were celebrating my uncle's 40th birthday. My grandpa used to live in New Jersey, and he used to bring my dad, uncle, and aunt there for vacation when they were little. Now it's my turn to go to New Jersey. On the way, we stopped at McDonald's and the Great Wolf Lodge. The Great Wolf Lodge has a water park and is a hotel. My favorite part of the water park is to walk across the lily pads. I was too short to hold on to the hanging ropes for balance, so I crawled on the lily pads to get across. I felt nervous. Then we were there. We went crabbing. I saw a live crab. I thought it was scary because it looked like it would nip me with its claws. But my dad grabbed it off the deck and dropped it in a bucket. We had to let those crabs go, but my parents and other people ate different crabs later on. I had hot dogs instead. I swam only in the bay because it was warm and calm. There were not many waves. On the ocean side, I dipped my feet in the water. The waves were so big, so I spent most of my time picking pretty rocks and shells. Then we had to go home. I didn't want to leave because I was having so much fun. I asked my parents if I could come to my 10th birthday in New Jersey. They said maybe. The end.
Okay. Audrey, you can go get some John. All right, now we'll ask Audrey and Nate to stand up here and see if we want any photos. Parents or otherwise, you might have made some new fans as well. All right, now you guys can go sit with your folks. Thank you very much. All right, now would our second grade students come to the foot of the stage, please? All right, so first up, we will introduce our honorable mention student from the second grade, who is Goldie Grove, who is a second grader at Kirkwood. So Goldie can get her certificate from John. Perfect. See, Nate and Audrey, you guys taught everybody how to do it. Well done, Goldie. All right, next we have our Right Stuff winner, who is Harriet Beal-Gupta from Willowwind, who will come up and read Shining Winter.
Shining winter. Snow falls from the sky as if the clouds were falling. Hot cocoa sits by the warm fireplace in the quiet, loving room. In the silent, quiet room lays a sleeping cat. Next to the cat is a pale brown couch. Inside the fireplace-light, quiet room, everything is relaxing. Next to me lies a little brown leather book. Glimmering in the light of the fire lies a shelf of elegant, glittering glass cups. When the cat wakes up, it climbs on the couch and purrs satisfyingly. Innocent silence fills the room again. Near the fire, I sleep in peace, with a beautiful aroma of candles. Tenderly, the cat purrs again. Enjoying the hot cocoa, I pet the cat. Relaxing my feet on a pillow, I fall into a deep, relaxing sleep.
Thank you, Harriet. And now our From the Heart winner for the second grade is Lyan Hussein from Coralville Central, who will read The Bracelet.
The Bracelet. A little girl arose with a sick feeling in her stomach. She looked at the window that revealed her worst nightmare, a thunderstorm on a full moon. Panic arose in her face. Then her head turned to the door as her mom came in. Her mom said, "Sweetie, oh thank goodness you're okay, Darcy. Come on, sweetheart, there's a thunderstorm. We need to get to the basement, okay?" The girl named Darcy obeyed and got out of bed as she followed her mom downstairs. Darcy was a little 8-year-old girl with brownish black eyes and light golden brown hair. Her cheeks always flushed bright pink when she laughed, although they were pale now. And she always looked on the bright side. Darcy lived with her mom and her grandma. Her dad died only a few months after she was born, fighting in the military, so she doesn't remember much about him. Her grandpa suffered a major seizure when Darcy was 6, but she always remembered him and kept him in her heart. Darcy used to love going down to his studio where he loved to paint beautiful paintings that he would sell for thousands of dollars. Darcy always thought that it was weird how Grandpa called the attic his studio. How could something be two different things? Her grandpa explained that anything can be different, like how he's an artist, but he's also a grandpa. When she was little, Darcy always wanted to be like her grandpa because she loved to draw, color, paint, and do anything that really required a little bit of imagination and creativity. Darcy's grandma is suffering a major injury to the pancreas that she has to take a lot of medicine, and she has to use a cane when she walks. Her grandma always felt tired and had to stay in bed a lot, so Darcy helped her mom make cookies and tea for her to make Grandma feel better. Grandma woke up in a daze. She wasn't feeling too good, and the thunder outside woke her up. Blinded by the dark, Grandma shivered and tried to get up too quickly. Grandma felt a sudden shock as she found her way to the ground. As the light flashed open, she realized that she had tripped over her cat. Grandma felt a huge pain in her leg, and she slowly let out a scream. Darcy's face only showed terror as she ran to her injured grandmother. Mom had brought her first aid kit in case of emergency. She was a doctor. She slowly examined Grandma's leg and had bad news. Grandma had a sprained ankle. Darcy hugged her grandma and started to cry as her mom went to get more supplies. Her grandma hushed her and told her that she didn't deserve her tears. Darcy thought it made sense. Crying couldn't help Grandma get better, but she was still sad. As Darcy looked into her grandma's eyes, they both thought the same thing. Grandma couldn't seriously heal from such huge injuries at the same time. She might die soon. Grandma looked at Darcy and put the bracelet in her hand without taking her eyes off their place. Grandma said, "Darcy, my sweet little angel, I want you to take this bracelet, and it's not just any ordinary bracelet. This bracelet can take you to magical places where anything you dream is possible. My grandma gave it to me as her grandma did before her, and now I'm passing it down to you, and you will someday pass it down to your own grandchild." Darcy took the bracelet and thanked her grandmother. Her mom came back, and Darcy waited as they talked and said goodbye. Finally, it was Darcy's turn to say goodbye. She hugged her grandmother and said, "I love you," as the life died from inside her grandmother's soul. Darcy couldn't help it, but she kept crying. Later, after the funeral, Darcy decided to test out the bracelet's magic powers. She put it on, but nothing happened. Then she closed her eyes. The most magical thing happened, and she was transferred into the beautiful world of imagination. The end.
All right, stay up on stage here. Let's see if we can get a photo of our second graders. I think we have some folks who would like to do so. You guys are famous writers. You have to get used to this now. All right, great. Thank you. You can go back and rejoin your parents. All right, so now that the first and second graders and I have shown you how it's done, we're going to turn it over to the capable hands of Mayor Bruce Teague, who will be up to introduce our next two grades. So, Bruce, come on and join me.
Wow, that was the first and second graders. Awesome and amazing job to each of you. Thank you for being a part of today. And on behalf of Iowa City, I'm so happy to be amongst the writers that are of our newer generation, and we are in for a huge treat the rest of today, and so thanks again. I'm going to invite the third graders to the bottom of the stage at this time, and I'm going to call you in the order that you'll receive your certificate. And we have our third grade honorable mention students, which are Ian Ballantyne from Willowwind, Louisa Capps from Mann Elementary, and Peter Sprague from Lemmy Elementary. Our right stuff winner is Cora Beland from Coralville Central Elementary, who will read Pirate Cats.
Pirate Cats. Yo ho ho, Blackbeard cried. There are rats on my ship. Cats, come. Immediately, an orange fluffy ball of fur leaped onto the rat. Then the cat, Peachy, took the rat and dropped it into the water. Blackbeard turned to his first mate, Scurvy, and said, "Your idea to bring cats onto the ship and train them to catch mice was an excellent plan." "One thing, Captain," Scurvy replied. "To be officially welcomed onto our ship, I think these cats need pirate hats." "No, no, no," Captain Blackbeard exclaimed. "Cats with hats?" He shook his head. "Just an idea, sir," Scurvy bowed. "And not a good one," Captain Blackbeard mumbled. However, the cats had heard Scurvy's idea, and they liked the idea a lot. "Off to the hold!" Peachy yelled. This was where they held their secret meetings. They went to work, gathering feathers, leather, gold, and other supplies to make the hats. "Now, cats, put the first hat on me and bow to me." Peachy was obviously enjoying this way too much. The cats looked puzzled, and they just sat there. "Never mind," Peachy chuckled nervously. Now that the hats were ready, the cats put them on. Then the cats fell asleep wearing their hats. The next morning, there's a rat on the ship again. "Cat," Blackbeard called. "There's a rat." "Yes," Scurvy added, "and it's a mighty big one, too." When Peachy came in to chase the rat away, he was proudly wearing his pirate hat. "Scurvy!" Captain Blackbeard yelled, pointing his hook at the now very frightened man. "Yes, Captain?" Scurvy's voice shook. "You put hats on my cats!" The Captain Blackbeard bellowed. "I'll get you!" "No, Captain, I did not put hats on the cats." Scurvy looked wildly around the ship for help. "I couldn't have. You were with me all night. We sleep in the same room." The captain looked angry. "When you went to the bathroom, you put hats on my cats." Scurvy wanted to say that they were everyone's cats, but Captain Blackbeard was mad enough at him anyway. Just then, Peachy dropped the rat he had been chasing at Captain Blackbeard's feet. "Ew! Ew!" Captain Blackbeard shrank back with a disgusted look on his face. "Take the rat off the ship! Don't bring it to me!" he cried. But instead, Peachy picked up the rat again and headed toward Captain Blackbeard with the rat in his mouth. The captain began to run away, and Peachy immediately started to chase him. "Stop!" Captain Blackbeard yelled frantically. "Scurvy, do something! Help me!" But Scurvy was tired of being bossed around. Besides, he liked the hats, so he stood there grinning. "Do something!" Captain Blackbeard howled, but Scurvy still did nothing. Peachy wouldn't give up. He kept chasing Captain Blackbeard around, rat in mouth, into the ship jail, where Scurvy locked him up. The end.
Thank you. And we're going to have you join the honorable mentions, and we're going to get a picture in a little bit. Our From the Heart winner is Roan Shriver from Willowwind. Roan is unable to join us tonight, and so we've asked City of Literature Director John Kennan to read in his stead.
After hearing Cora, I think I know why Rowan didn't want to come. I don't know how one follows that, but I'll give it a try. So this is Rowan's poem, Life. Life is like scoring a goal for the first time, or being the world's best mime. Life is being a meme, or playing on the world's best sports team. Life is tasting beer-battered cod, or seeing somebody nod. Life is doing art or being super smart. Life is turning the water from hot to cold or looking young, not old. Life is playing video games or remembering everybody's names. Life is being lazy or going cuckoo crazy. Life is picking up litter or tasting something bitter. Life is drinking Fanta or spying on Santa or going to Atlanta. Life is being a cool dude or not being super rude. Life is being Roger Federer. That's what Ari says. I prefer maybe eating Pez. Life is drinking Coke or being a joke. Life is learning how to bake or eating cake. Life is being the best or just not being a pest. Thanks.
I'm going to have all of the students remain on stage just to get the paparazzi pictures. Thank you all again. You may exit the stage. You can exit the stage. Great. Now I'd like to ask the fourth grade students to come to the foot of the stage. And you can come to the stage in the order that I call your name to receive your certificate. Our fourth grade honorable mention students are Adrian Cardasso from Kirkwood, Olivia Friedhoff from Coralville Central, Rachel Mataibo from Kirkwood, and Kairos Wu from Van Allen. And let's give all of our honorable mentions a proud round of applause. The Right Stuff winner is Jordy Gryzlak from Willowwind, who will read Deep Down Inside.
Deep down inside. Deep down inside, the world is crashing like a snow globe, a bottle, a window, crashing down like a glass, shattered. Deep down inside, our democracy is falling, turning over like a building. Pain stains your body like a needle in the chest. Why? Why? Me? It's happening so quickly, like a bullet flying past. Hitting you, you fall down, down to the ground like an anvil, like a bowling ball, shattered inside. Deep down inside, you know, just like you're a genius, that something is building up, like a volcano. It bursts up like lava. Anger, raging anger. Deep down inside, so deep, like a trench. The anger falling down. It turns into anxiety. It has you trapped. It stays in like money in a safe, deep down inside.
Thank you. Our From the Heart winner is Anaya Patel from Penn Elementary, who will read Take Me Away.
Take me away. Once upon a time, there lived two kids named Jason and Leva. Their parents used to quarrel a lot. Jason and Leva wanted to get away from it all, so Jason signed up to work at Pets A Million, the local pet store. Leva went to her friend Allie's house every day. One day, something strange happened. Jason was in the room that he shared with Leva. He saw a flash of purple by the desk. He ran to Leva, who had just come into the room. "Leva, did you see that?" asked Jason. "Duh. Come on, let's go," Leva yelled. "Go where?" Jason asked. "That thing we just saw was a portal," said Leva. As you can tell, Leva is the smart one. "I'm not going, Leva," Jason yelled. Leva stared at him. "Fine," Jason yelled. Together they jumped into the portal. Whoosh, they got sucked into the portal. Soon they ended up near a sign that said, "Neverland this way." They walked on cold, rough stones. After a while, they ended up near a pond. Luckily, it had stepping stones in it. Leva carefully stepped on a stone, but still lost her balance and fell into the pond. Splash. After about 20 seconds, her head bobbed back up. "Trespassers, hold them in the dungeon," someone yelled. "Ah," Leva and Jason yelled in unison.
They were thrown into an empty room. In the middle was a fire pit. Next to it were 3 people, a boy and 2 girls. They all had black glasses and thin noses. The boy was reading, and the girls were staring at Leva and Jason. "Hello, I'm Leva, and he's my brother Jason," said Leva. "Oh, sorry, I didn't see you come in. I'm Aiden, and these are my sisters, Melanie and Raina." Aiden spoke with a thick accent. "I'm Melanie, and she's my sister Raina," said Melanie. "Okay, let's get this straight. Why are we meeting you here?" Leva asked. "Every year Neverland opens up a new portal, and this year it opened up in your house," Raina said. "Cool," Jason said. "And where are the people who talk to the people who come through the portal?" Aiden said. "Can you guys do magic?" Leva asked. "Yep," Melanie said. "Can we ask you a favor?" Leva asked. "Sure thing," Raina said. "So our parents have been quarreling, and we really want them to stop," Leva said. Aiden thought for a minute. "I don't know any spells or incantations that make people stop quarreling." As he said that, Raina jumped in and said, "But I'm sure Melanie does." Melanie pulled out a little book and flipped through it. Here, look at this, Aiden, Raina, Leva, and Jason. I found the perfect potion," Melanie said. "Woo, yeah, Melanie," everyone cheered. They got to work right away mixing rose petals and lilacs. After an hour, the potion was ready. "Now we just need Mom and Dad to drink this," Jason said. Melanie, Aiden, and Raina nodded sympathetically. "Thanks a lot, guys. We're really grateful. It was such a pleasure meeting you. And we hope you guys can come by someday," Leva said. "Same to you," Aiden said. Just as they said that, they got sucked into the ground. They ended up near the desk. Leva had the small vial of the potion in a sachet. They snuck downstairs. "Mom and Dad are in the living room," Jason said. Leva snuck into the kitchen and poured the potion onto their lunch. Leva hid the vial in the back of her closet. When the family sat down to eat, Jason and Leva's mom suddenly said, "I'm sorry, Greg." Their dad suddenly said, "I'm sorry too, Violet." Thus the potion worked, and Leva and Jason's parents never quarreled again, and they all lived happily ever after. The end.
And I'm going to have you all stay there for pictures. Let's do one round of applause once more. Thank you all again. You may exit the stage.
All right, thank you to our readers from the first 4 grades, and thank you to Mayor Teague for joining us today. Now I would like to welcome Iowa City Public Library Director Ellsworth Carmen, who will help us to introduce our next 2 grades. Ellsworth.
Would our 5th grade students please come to the foot of the stage? You will come onto the stage in the order you are called to receive your certificate. The 5th grade honorable mention students are Archie Fisher from Twain Elementary, Hattie Galloway from Hoover Elementary, Willa Jackson from Willowwind, Sarah Kalnins from Willowwind, Vidya Kumar from Willowwind, Mira Mannheimer from Penn Elementary, Annabelle Peterson from Grant Elementary, and Ishmael Shaheen from Willowwind. Great. Our The Right Stuff winner is Ella Romero from Mann Elementary, and she will read The Clear Crayon.
The Clear Crayon. Sage's family is very poor, and all the people in her town are very poor too. Most of them are starving. It was finally Sage's birthday. Every year, all she gets is some old newspapers to draw on, with a pen her mom finds in the trash heap. This year, she expected the same. But when she came down for a breakfast of rice, there was a box wrapped with the only cloth napkin that Sage's family owned. Sage almost cried with happiness. "A present for me?" said Sage. "Happy birthday, Sage," said Poppy. That is what Sage calls her grandpa. She opened the present. "Crayons, thank you so much, Poppy." At school, Sage was about to tell her best friend Mina about the crayons, but Mina already started talking. "Oh my gosh, Sage, I'm so glad to see you. I need to tell you everything." At this point, Mina was panting because she was talking so fast. "Okay, slow down, Mina. First of all, it's my birthday," said Sage. "Happy birthday," Mina exclaimed. "Thanks. And also, what do you need to tell me so bad?" Sage said. Well, the inspectors came to my house because they heard a complaint of the condition of it. And they said if we do not get it renovated in 3 days, then we'll be sent to another country, said Mina. Sage wished she could help Mina, but she did not know how. Right after school, Sage got out her crayons to make a picture. In the crayon box, there are all rainbow-colored crayons and a clear crayon. Sage was curious about the clear crayon, so she picked it out of the box and drew a watermelon and a loaf of banana bread. The pictures glowed, then disappeared. Sage woke up, and she went downstairs to find a loaf of banana bread and a watermelon. My pictures became real, she thought. The next day, Sage invited Mina over, and they drew a fancy house. Sage told Mina to take the picture home. In the morning, Mina woke up in a beautiful room with a canopy over her bed. The outside of her house was light blue, and there was even a fountain and a bunch of pretty flowers. She ran over to Sage's house and told her, "Sage, the inspectors did not have to send my family away." And from that day on, their town was the prettiest, fanciest town ever. Sage and Mina were heroes because they helped others.
Thank you, Ella. Our From the Heart winner is Addison Bollier from Penn Elementary, and Addison will read her piece, Dear Daddy.
Dear Daddy, I miss you. I'm 5 years old, and it has been 3 years since I got to see you. I've asked Mommy why I didn't come back from work many times. She says that I won't understand until I'm older. She cries in her room every night, and when I ask her if she's okay, she says, "I'm okay. I just hope you're still here." I got to go to bed now. Me and Mommy will be here when you come back. Love you. P.S. Mommy lets me sleep with your shirt every night. Dear Dad, I'm 10 years old now. I miss you so much. Mom finally told me what happened. I cry every night into my blanket you gave me when I was 2. It has been 8 years since I got to see you. I started playing basketball. I love it so much. Mom waits at the door each night. She finally got herself to go into your office yesterday. She tells me that everything will be okay. I got to go to sleep. Think about if you didn't die. What would it be like? Every Christmas, Mom still buys you a present, and so do I. Last year, I got a picture of Mom and me and put it in a basketball picture frame, just like the one you got Mom for your anniversary. I gotta go. I love you. Dear Dad, I'm starting high school in 2 days. I'm 14 years old now. It has been 12 years since I got to see you. You've always encouraged me to try hard at things I loved. Even when you were not here, I always did. So I made it on the varsity basketball team this year. I hope you're proud of me. Your death day is coming up, and I'm making this year's amazing for you and Mom. She still waits for you every night until it is past when you come home. I love you. Dear Dad, I stayed home from school today because Mom is sick. I'm starting college in 2 months. I'm 18 years old now. I haven't got to see you for 16 years. I wish you were still here. I got a scholarship to the UI, University of Iowa, for basketball. Mom is sick and I wish you were here. You would know what to do. Mom is calling now. I gotta go help her. I'll always be here for you. I miss you so much. Dear Dad, right now I'm at the hospital with Mom. Dad, I don't know what to do. Mom has cancer. I put college on pause, and I'm never leaving Mom's side until she's better. Mom says hi. She's struggling, but we both know she's a fighter. I just turned 19, and it has been 17 years since I got to see you. I got to go. The doctors are coming in. I love you so much. I wish you were here. Dear Dad, I wish you were here right now. I know I had said you were going to come home to me and Mom, but now you only have me to come back to.
Thank you all. Adult caregivers and others, please feel free to get a quick photo before we send our writers back to their families. Great. Thanks, guys. All right, would our 6th grade students please come to the stage? And our 6th grade honorable mention students are Kaylin Beating from Kirkwood Elementary, Sylvia Broffett from Horn Elementary, and if you guys are here, you can come on up as your name is called to receive your certificate, Estelle Ralston from Penn Elementary, and Lydia Valiga from Regina Elementary. Great. Our The Right Stuff winner is Shanza Sami from Borlaug Elementary, who will read Baby Adele, A Daring Rescue.
Baby Adele, A Daring Rescue. Peering over the blood-red Nazi flag, stamped with the 4 L's conjoined into that sinister swastika, my mind read one thing: injustice. Having to walk over the remains of buildings and carcasses littering the streets of my hometown, my friends, neighbors, books, and my father's old synagogue, any connection of my old life destroyed by the Nazi regime, ignited the fiery anguish in my soul. Walking with my accomplice, Harry, while briefly gazing at the street, my eyes began to dampen. Hold it in, Esther, I reminded myself as I breathed in the morning smog shakily. Hold it in. Harry, sensing my agony, took my hand into his and squeezed it. It was just about a year ago when Harry and I were sent to be couriers because we were aged 10 and adept at our work. It was difficult being a courier, having to search and help citizens in need. We veered over to the next street and the next, in desperate hopes to find any living soul. The impact of the bomb had left central Berlin indistinguishable. Ashes and burnt ruins were the only devastating landscape Harry and I could spot from eye to eye. Suddenly, we heard a squeak from a few yards or so behind the two of us, shattering the silence. Startled, we jump around. We find a small, nearly dead chicken settled in front of us, a rare find. Whoever must have lived here must have been wealthy. No longer than a few seconds, Harry and I hear something twice as shocking, a whimper not far from the same area. Soundlessly, Harry and I excavate the site to find an infant, one so frail and weak that it seemed almost worthless trying to save her. However, swimming through the blue ocean in her eyes made us realize that she was special, worth saving. So, while Harry fed the bare infant sleeping pills, I wrapped her in a blanket, and while doing so, found the Star of David dangling loosely from her bony neck. On the back of the ornate, golden-wrought necklace was the engraving, "For Adele L. Alperstein." I rubbed the cold metal between my fingers. Quietly, I whispered, "She had a family." Harry nodded slowly. Oh, what I would do for a family. We hid Adele with us in our rucksack as we continued to scan the streets for any other soul. We had no luck. Faster than when Adele fell dozing, we spotted 2 soldiers, one looking in his 30s and the other looking a little older. They were chatting in German while walking their dogs when they spotted us. One thought ran through our heads. Oh no. Harry and I rubbed ash on her cheeks and began an impressive limp. We tugged at her clothing and tore a few inches of the seams. The realization dawned that we were gifted adolescents, though imperiled. Within seconds, we were disguised. The guards straightened their backs, defying their careless composure, and walked towards us, following their dogs closely. "Who are you, and what are you doing here?" the younger guard questioned, posing more as a command. "I'm Augustine, and she is Mabel. We live south of this area." "We did not expect a bomb," Harry began as he pulled out his new, thick, chunky accent when the dogs began barking. "What is in your rucksack, miss?" the older guard boomed. "Our baby's sister, Madonna," Esther replied, scavenging for a name. "Why is she in a sack?" the guard interrogated. "She is cold and sick. This was the only way to help her." "Show us your IDs, both of you," the younger guard interjected. Harry and I handed out our forged IDs to the guards, which they skimmed, and then concluded that we were fine. Harry and I turned away, relieved. Then came a bone-chilling question from the younger guard. "What about the baby?" Harry and I froze. "She was born 4 days ago. She still has no ID," I responded. The guards were quiet for a moment. "Go," was the response. With a sigh of relief, dutifully, Harry and I made a frantic dash for the orphanage. Thank you.
Thank you. Our From the Heart winner is Charles Mills from Alexander Elementary, and John Kenyon will be reading his piece, Our Moon.
So just to be sure, Charles didn't make it today, right? Because this is a great story, and I want him to be able to read it if he is. Okay. So this is Our Moon. I remember just sitting there and looking up at the moon with Ma and just having fun before all this mess started. My Ma and me were always looking up at the moon and sharing our dreams and what we hoped for our future because it was just something that we had always done together. Even though I knew that my mother was sick, I never expected for her death to come so soon. So now I just look up at the moon, wishing that my mother was still with me and I wasn't just sitting here by myself. My dad tries to help, but he's always at work. He tries to come home earlier, but he never does. So I write about it in my journal and just remember all the moments we had together. When I die, I know that you'll be sad, but you will always have Dad. And even though you won't be able to see me, just know that I'll always love you. As I wipe the tear that's coming down my face, I remember that those were the last words she told me, and I should honor them in her name of her. But before I was able to do anything, my dad walked through the door and told me to bring a blanket because we were going outside. After I grabbed the blanket, he opened the door for me and told me to sit and look at the moon. I know that it's been hard for you to handle things since your mom's death and that you've been missing her, but I was hoping that we could have a tradition for us two. I started to stare at him blankly and tried to hold back the tears, but it all came out in a rush, and with tears running down my face, I replied yes. Then he held me close and told me, I could never take the tradition that you had with your mom, so instead of looking at the moon, we'll be looking at the stars and remembering your great mother. I smiled and told him that I loved him and that I was happy that he was there with me. So even though I lost my mom, I always have the moon to remember her. I have my dad and the stars to remember her, and I have my love for her. Thanks.
Thank you. Adult caregivers and others, please feel free to use this opportunity to get some photos. Great. Thank you, writers. You could return to your seats.
All right, thank you to our student readers, and thank you, Ellsworth. Now I would like to invite Jenny Garner, who's the director of the North Liberty Community Library and president of the Board of the City of Literature, to come and join me on stage, where she will help to introduce our final two grades. Jenny.
Wow, I'm always so excited for this weekend and to hear the talent that we are bringing up in our community. It's amazing, and I'm super excited to host some of these budding authors in my library someday. Would our seventh graders please come up to the stage? Our seventh grade honorable mention students are, and if I mispronounce your names, I apologize, Court Beal from Northwest Junior High, Samantha Glass from Regina, Honora Klauke from Southeast Junior High, Luis Solano de Almeida from Southeast Junior High, Jen Tran from Southeast Junior High, and Sydney Tranel from Northwest Junior High. Our Right Stuff winner is Dania Hussein from Northwest Junior High, and she will read her piece, This Is Me.
I am from Bikes, Arabian Dolls and Toys, from Samaras and Tom and Jerry. I'm from a small apartment building built up to a beautiful house with unthinkable landscaping and a garden at the front. From Iraq to America, the land of opportunities, I'm grateful. I am from palm trees to camellias and lilac to a forest just outside. From the beautiful garden we left behind, still as luminous and extravagant, you'd mistake it for a jungle. I'm from Ramadan, delicious authentic food and eat. I'm from my father, hardworking, built his way up from the ground. He took care of us, brought us here, and taught us only good. From my mother, her smile so warm and sweet. Her presence comforts and brightens up the room. Unfairness had attacked her badly, but her strength overcame. Yes, she persisted. From my sweet, dignified grandfather, God bless him, our cherished moments we shared left behind, along with his veneration. I miss him terribly, but his memory will always stay in my heart. He will never be forgotten. From my kind-hearted grandmother's gentle smile, filled with delight and beauty, so intricate as she is, to my huge family, indescribable in the English language. I'm from happiness, kindness, and the brave. I'm from try your best, push past your limits, be yourself, have good character, be nice, but stand up for yourself. You know you can do it, and I love you. I'm from loyalty to God, from 5 prayers a day since I was 9. I'm from the same hospital my mother worked in back home. I'm from Sumerian and Babylonian ancestors. I'm from Teshrif Fasulia, tepsi and chicken with fried rice. From Lebanon biryani that tastes so nice. And from my mother, found this scarred her terribly, overcame such cruelness with hard work and loyalty from scratch to earn a job. From my grandfather's depressing release of his life, a heart attack unable to be recovered by the doctors of my hometown. His funeral I wasn't able to attend due to the cruelness of this nation. I loved him so I was very close to him as a child. I'm from our old, beautiful, intricate pictures back home from when I was little and before. All locked away back home in Iraq. Its tendency, proneness, and this nation's president keeping me from such a momentous and beautiful family once more.
And our From the Heart winner is Layan Ahmed from Northwest Junior High, and she'll read her piece, The Elevator.
The elevator. As I get into the hospital lobby elevator, I have 3 things on my mind. Cancer, my sister Greta, and the bland hospital food she always complains about. It all feels so unfamiliar and strange. Energy bursting, vibrant Greta, who could barely contain herself for a second, was now limply laying on a monitored hospital bed. Once Mom steps into the elevator, I thoughtlessly close the doors with the press of a button. But as the doors slowly join together, I hear a tiny, high-pitched voice. "Wait," the little voice squeals. I rapidly press a button to make the doors separate again. As the doors part, a little girl stands, panting out of breath. "4th floor," she says as she gets into the elevator. I nod and press the 4th button in the array of silver domes. The elevator then subtly shakes, which forces me to lose my balance, so I clutch the metal bar attached to the wall. After I stabilize myself, I take a moment to look at the little girl. She holds a red balloon. She wears a sky blue shirt with pajama pants that drag on the floor. She is holding a red balloon attached to a thin string, and it floats above her head. Her head only has little specks of blonde hair on it, and there are 2 transparent tubes following in from her nose to her chest. She holds a small grin as she notices me examining her. I've seen it before: the balloon, the hair, the tubes, and the smile. The little girl reminds me a bit of Greta, how Greta is able to remain hopeful and optimistic through everything, even cancer. At that moment, I realized that maybe I need to start looking at things through the same lens as Greta, with hope and determination. My thoughts are interrupted by the ding of the elevator, followed by the doors parting again to deliver us to the 4th floor. The girl steps onto the level first, followed by Mom and I. We all go through the left hallway, where we start to look for Greta's chemotherapy room. We find it after strolling to the near end of the hallway. The girl keeps walking and abruptly stops 4 doors across where Greta is. Mom walks into the room, but I stay behind for a few seconds to look at the little girl one more time. She turns her head and holds the same small smile she gave me in the elevator. I return a warm smile to her, and I walk into room 546.
All right, if you guys want to pose for your parents and caregivers to take pictures. Perfect. Thank you so much. And now for our 8th graders. If you students who are here would like to come up to the stage. Our 8th grade honorable mention students are Jaden Franklin, Nevaeh Hoffman. Jaden is from West Branch Middle School. Nevaeh Hoffman from Northwest Junior High. Okay, this one's a hard one. Kumangshi Kuchal from Northwest Junior High. Olivia Neighbor from West Branch. Addison Pranter from Southeast Junior High, Layla Strand from North Central Junior High, and Athena Wu from Northwest Junior High. All right, our Right Stuff winner is Ritvika Sivaprakash from Prairie Point Middle School, and she'll read her piece, To Rob a Prince.
My tale is not fairy-like or magical in the least. I'm not a delicate damsel who spends her life yearning for a prince. In fact, the first time I met one, I was robbing him. I'm the most famous spy in all the kingdoms. In the beginning, misfortune led me straight into the Stuffed Pig Inn, which was as stuffy as it sounded, in a muddy town called Ferrant. It was all Father's fault, going off on a sea voyage for fabled glory and marrying off me and my sister. Luckily, I escaped that gap-toothed old suitor. After my escape, I went to my sister for help. She refused to house me. I was off again with a lighter purse and my sister's wedding ring, which I slipped off her finger. I went searching for somewhere to stay. I rode till I came to a pigsty of a town called Ferrant that I could afford. I gave up the ring in exchange for 2 months' rent. Then I looked for work in the shops. Nothing. The farms. Nothing. Soon I was about to give up until I noticed a sorry-looking inn on the side of the road. I stepped inside and rang the bell. I convinced the sour innkeeper to give me a job with my last silver coin. Money wasn't much, so I resorted to stealing. A watch from an unlucky tradesman, a purse from a thin-lipped old woman. Soon I was stealing anything of value. Then I noticed a handsome green-eyed young man sitting in the corner of the inn. I scanned him with stormy gray eyes. There, a silver wrist cuff. Your cider, I announced, and unlatched the cuff. I spilled the drink, and under the pretense of cleaning it up, sloshed it on a nearby man. Hey, he yelled. At the same time, I tripped a knight, a farmer slapped a sailor, a tradesman dropped his glass, and the whole inn went into a frenzy. There was no one behind me. I breathed a sigh of relief. Until, that is, I heard the also-familiar cry of thief. Needless to say, I ran. Stop! You're cornered, I heard a voice pant. I leaned against a pile of crates, completely unfazed, and blew a strand of dark hair from my eyes. He noticed my smirk and frowned. In the blink of an eye, I climbed the crates and swung myself onto the roof. I heard the satisfying crack of the crates breaking against the man's weight as he tried to follow me. Exercise much? I leaned forward and smiled, but he wasn't there. Hey, thief! I spun around, tripped, and fell over the edge. The man caught me. You don't look like a pickpocket, the daughter of a wealthy merchant, maybe a noble. What brought you to stealing? I pulled out the cuff. I ran away from a suitor, crossed the forest on a hearse, and survived in this wretched town for more than a month now. I'm not a hapless noble anymore. His eyes widened. Cross the forest by yourself and running away from a suitor? You must be insane. Let's just say I don't wish to be told what to do, I said coolly. I handed him his cuff back. He didn't take it. Then he paused as if startled. Let us hope we meet again, he finally said. I hope we don't, I spluttered. He did seem quite pale when I said that. I left. Behind the inn, I saw a girl clothed in rags staring at the stale food on the trash heap. Without hesitation, I slipped her the cuff. She looked at it in disbelief. I felt eyes watching me from behind. Brushing off my skirts, I returned back to the inn to finish my shift. That night, in my room, I found a pouch by the door. I shook its contents out. Gold coins? A parchment read, Dear thief, your gifts would be very useful to this kingdom, and certainly your awfully brave spirit. Use this money to go anywhere you wish, but the castle will always welcome you. Sincerely, the prince. Oh, the green-eyed stranger. I packed, threw a coin at the innkeeper's face, and rode into the sunset.
And Tristan Hancock from North Central Junior High is our From the Heart winner, who will read his piece, Let's Talk.
Have you ever felt like you didn't have a voice? Well, I have, time after time after time. Whether I'm getting ignored, bullied, or both. All I could do was wait. I'm tired of that now. I'm tired of just watching as another school shooting happens to add on to the hundreds of others that happened in the last year. I'm tired of watching our Earth get destroyed and have most people just pass it off. If I ever made a peep about topics like this, just me, no one else, I would get shut down and frowned upon. I feel like I can't make a difference, that I can't change anything. Now, before you ask, Hey, you know that walkouts exist, right? I know, but I can't do that. I physically can't. So no protests, no walkouts, no nothing. I have a disability called EDS that makes sure I can't do what a normal kid can. Sports, never had done it, never will. In a way, it makes me the person I am today. So I can't do anything by myself. I've said this, so I might as well get to the point. Yes, I can't do it, but we can. If we can stand up for our future together and push what our generation believes is right toward those with power, they won't ignore us anymore. Sure, they may not listen. They may try to push us aside again because of our youth, though they can't ignore us anymore. They won't. That is because we can make a voice so powerful and so loud that it would make sure they hear us. Then eventually they will listen. This is already happening right now. People our age are speaking up. They're getting acknowledged, some even listened to. But more needs to be done. More voices need to be heard. Local, statewide, nationwide, worldwide. So please, I may be just a random teen from a random town in Iowa, and nobody would probably not care about the speech anyway. But for those who are listening, stand up for what you believe in. Stand up for what you think is right. Work together for what you plan to get done, whether it's protesting or just something in your everyday lives. One person would crumble under a larger load, but if you work together to move the load, it would go quicker and easier for each person. If we all stand up for our future, something might get done. Thank you for listening. Let's make sure everyone else does too.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jenny, and thank you to all of today's readers. You all have a clear talent for writing, and I hope you continue to pursue that no matter what you may do in your lives. Now, one thing I have noticed, I've done this for several years now, and I start to recognize names that pop up again and again. So I was curious, of our student winners who are out here today, how many of you have been recognized at One Book, Two Book at least twice? Okay, how about 3 times? 4 times? 5 times? Okay. 5, 6, 7. It can't be any more than 8. So, wow, that's wonderful. So many of our young writers are continuing to write, continuing to pursue their passion and their talent, and whatever small part that we can play to help encourage that, we're glad to do so. So thank you to all of you for continuing to write, and thank you very much to the parents who helped to make that happen, the educators who helped to make that happen, the support systems for all of these kids in our community. It means a lot to us here in the City of Literature, so thank you. So before I let you go, I did want to thank our sponsors one more time. We have the Community Foundation of Johnson County, ACT, Have Life Foundation, U.S. Bank, and Iowa Public Radio. As I said, I really want to thank the area public teachers, or public and private teachers, principals and classroom teachers and teacher librarians who've made all of this possible by distributing information, helping to encourage your students to write, and helping to polish that writing and teach these kids what it means to be a good writer. I'd also again like to thank the team at ACT, including John. Thank you for helping me out today, and thank you for reading through all of these submissions and helping us to pick these wonderful students. And with that, I would like to thank you for coming out today. Thank you for helping us with One Book, Two Book, and we'll let you go a little early so you can enjoy this weather. So thank you very much, and have a great rest of your Sunday.